Okay, so this is part 2 of the 5-minute project, and this part is really focused on helping students refine the problems they've identified. So now that they've identified a problem and a problem team that they're working in, what you're going to have them do is spend the next 10 days really trying to refine that problem and using a possibility thinking protocol that I've developed that can help them really kind of challenge their assumptions about the problem and also learn how to provide feedback to each other, and then reflect on that and share out how their thinking has changed prior to giving and receiving this kind of feedback. So the first day is really about introducing the protocol to students and introducing them to the idea of thinking about their problems in a new way. So even simple things like, what if a big problem is actually a small problem? Or what if the problem you've identified isn't actually the real problem? Or it's maybe a symptom of a deeper problem, that kind of thing. So what you're going to have them do is you're going to introduce this protocol that I'll show you in a second. Then you're going to give them time to kind of practice that protocol with their teams, and then spend the majority of the time sharing out with the entire class and receiving feedback using the protocol, and then going back to their groups, refining their problem, and then sharing how their problems have changed, or at least their thinking around the problems have changed. So the protocol that you'll be using is called the possibility thinking protocol. It has 2 parts. You'll eventually use both parts, but for this phase of the work, you're really just going to be focusing on part 1, which is called generating possibilities. And again, these possibilities are about helping them think about their problem from a different perspective or a different way. And so the way this works is there's usually a facilitator, and in this case it'll be probably you, particularly when you're introducing it. But then students can take on the facilitator role in their small groups and even whole class. So the facilitator just keeps track of time and makes sure that the protocol is working step through step. You'll see on here that the times allocated are for a little bit longer time, but this protocol works really well in 5 minutes. It can also work well in as little as 2 minutes. So the idea is the presenter or a spokesperson from the team will share what the problem they identified is. They'll then receive any clarifying questions from the group, and then they will listen as the group kind of gives them some what if possibilities to think about, to kind of challenge assumptions around the problem. And so on the back side of this form, there are some tactics for flipping assumptions, which are just these various kinds of flips. And there's something as simple as, what might be seemingly good is potentially bad, and vice versa. But you can use these if you think, or you can just kind of stick with some basic examples that I provide in those kind of prompts. Either way, this can be really effective with your students. But the idea here is they receive those what if possibilities, and then at the end of that, they identify 1 or 2 that helps them think about their problem in a new way. And then they're going to have time to sit with their team and rethink their problems and share that out with the group.